I'm the executive director of the National Institute for Civil Discourse. And our mission is really to bring about elected officials that really are capable of governing, to support the media in becoming fact-based, and to bring citizens back into the public square.
Now, it seems so intuitive that everybody would want politicians who are capable of working with each other and getting things done. Given that resounding evidence shows people want that, why hasn't that happened?
Well, I think it's taken several decades to come to the place that we are, and it isn't just how the people behave, there are real systemic issues. The whole issue of gerrymandering, redistricting, the impact of too much money in politics, the impact of more and more Americans choosing not to vote, the impact of the way in which in our system the majority wins all. There's a wonderful effort about proportional voting so that there'd have to be a runoff if in fact no candidate wins more than 50%. That would change the dynamic and change people's belief about the power of their vote. But what we're doing at the Institute is creating places for people to come together to take on the tough issues. We recently convened a working session of 40 elite leaders, 10 of them from journalism, 10 of them from civic organizations, 10 of them from faith-based organizations, and 10 of them elected officials. And the topic was reaffirming American values, combating anti-Muslim speech and behavior. It's tragic, but this campaign has really made it more legitimate for people who hold unknowledgeable positions about the Muslim religion to really be actively bigoted about it. So these people came together to develop action steps they could take, creating interfaith councils in several states around the United States, bringing conservative evangelical congregations together with Muslim gatherings in mosques and having them actually share social events together. So we worked very, very practically, bringing together young African Americans and Hispanics with established politicians in certain states where voter suppression has been an issue, to really gather the data and decide whether there are actions that a Secretary of State could take to deal with what the Democrats think of as voter suppression, what Republicans respond with as voter fraud. Meanwhile, what we all should care about, what we were founded on, is ensuring that everyone who wants to vote can vote.
And to somebody who says this sounds like a lot of kind of organizations and politics and things like that, but I'm just myself a moderate voter out somewhere not involved really. How does that person get empowered other than simply voting?
Well, one of the things that we see, I took this position 4 years ago, and when I first moved into this position, every interview I did, I was pushed by a journalist or pushed by an elected official. What is civility anyway? Does that just mean being nice? And we had done research so I could really answer that question very well. But today, we read about civility in the newspaper, on television, on the internet, literally many times. And one of the things that we can tell people around the country is that many cities in the United States are developing citizen-led organizations to bring back civility into their public square and to demand it from their politicians. We've created an atmosphere in this presidential cycle in which we have made it legitimate to be incivil. Therefore, we are going to take probably a decade to push back, to change back to what has been the norm, what has been the value in the United States, is to treat each other with respect, even though we may be very, very different. So what individuals can do, your question, get engaged in their own community on an issue they really care about. Find the organization that supports what they believe should happen in their community and get involved.
And lastly, I think something that's interesting that's come up a little bit is social media. Can you talk about how social media has affected political discourse? Has it connected people and made them bridge more so, or has it put them into sort of echo chambers of polarity and sort of non-connection? And either way, can you talk about how do social media to reach kind of a more civil world?
Embedded in your question and reflects well-researched data about social media. Its positive effect is it makes everybody able to broadcast. Its negative effect is that more comments in social media tend toward the negative than toward the positive. What we do at the National Institute for Civil Discourse, and we would invite all of your viewers to join us, we've actually started a civility campaign on social media. The hashtag is Revive Civility, and if you join it, you will find many, many people all over the United States and some from other countries chiming in to say we have to reestablish values where we respect one another, we listen to one another, and we don't degrade people or bully them through social media.